people in general. I want people to be treated fairly, to have the things that they need, and that's one of the reasons I've been involved in a number of nonprofit agencies, is because with working with those, I see the results of the work that they do, and I know that it's worthwhile. I am just amazed that I was nominated for it. Seeing the other people that I know that have been nominated for this award, have received this reward, I feel like I am in such an elite group. It's just amazing to me. It makes me feel humble. I'm just very proud to be a recipient of this reward.
I love volunteering. I love working with people and learning new people. And when you volunteer with different groups, you meet people that you wouldn't see in the grocery store or in your neighborhood or at church. And so it's fun to get to work with them and get to know a new set of people. We know that the needy are always going to be with us. And I think it's our responsibility for us that have so much and have so many blessings that we do need to share and get out there and work and help. In volunteering that way, you can help organizations that are on low budgets and few people that are employed, and you can make a difference as a volunteer. And in our community, we have hundreds of volunteers that go out every day or every week and do their work, you know, and expect nothing of it. And I hope that they will continue to volunteer and know that they are appreciated. And organizations around here are so good about thanking volunteers for their help, whether it's financial or whether it's time that they're giving. We have a very generous community and one that cares about the agencies that we've set up here to take care of those that are in need. So I hope it continues.
I think women have been taught to take care of things, and a family, a business, or whatever they're involved in, they have a caring process to work with. Mm-hmm. My true passion, first of all, is my church. I love my church, and I belong to Sunday school, and I'm a communion assistant, and I'm on the altar guild, and those services mean a lot to me. Well, it began when I became involved in hospice care. When my husband was ill with leukemia, we used the hospice care, and the people that were involved were so kind and so good, and after he passed away, I wanted to give back, and so I joined the hospice group at the hospital and finally became chair of that, fundraising for the hospice care, and that just started me off on a road of doing projects for others.
Both of us are community volunteers. You know, my husband does a lot with Bristol Rhythm and Roots Reunion. He's on the music committee there, and I sit on several boards. And so on top of just being an advocate and, you know, believe in Bristol stuff, you know, we both kind of go above, you know, the basic call of duty to really make sure that, you know, we volunteer and we give back to the community as it's given to us. So we've been very blessed to be here, and we want to make sure that you know, we do our part to continue making things good. So I guess we're kind of passionate about that. And I think that it's really important to give back to your community. People have no idea how important just nonprofit volunteers are. I mean, I think a volunteer hour now is like $25 or something. It's an incredible number, and you know, Believe in Bristol last year we had over 5,000 volunteer hours from our organization alone. Now, it was a big year. We had Mumford & Sons, we had a lot of things going on, but you know, for one organization to have 5,000 volunteer hours, you know, you times that by $25 an hour, and that's how much it's worth. Our little organization could not make it, and many other organizations in Bristol could not make it without volunteers. So I think that's really important. To make sure things happen, you've got to have that volunteer help and community support.
When I was going to hospitals with my grandmother, who was a nurse's aide, I don't know, something about the life or death feeling of the hospital, the ability to impact people's lives in a positive way, to help them get better, and to be there at the most important times of their lives. I was an OB nurse, and I was there for a lot of the births of children, which is a wonderful thing. And then we're there when people pass away, and so we really are there at the most important point in people's lives, and I think that's a privilege, and it gets me motivated and keeps me going. Again, my grandmother and my parents were very service-oriented. They believed that you should give back, you know, that if you were blessed and God gave you gifts to do certain things, that you should use them partially to serve other people. That's just always been a part of the culture that I grew up in. And I was the oldest child, so I guess I was kind of a leader early on. Took care of my brother and sister, and just enjoyed kind of being in a leadership role from an early age. Well, the award is very gratifying because people nominated me for it who think highly of me, and that's a little scary, but it's also very gratifying. I think the award also motivates me to continue to remember that people are watching you when you don't even notice that, and see things in you that you might not see, and that you can have influence on people's lives in a real positive way. And it's been a real positive and motivating thing for me. I'm very proud to know that people think that I was worthy of it, and I thank them for it, and I thank them for the opportunity to continue to try to earn what they've nominated me for.
I started looking into it and just really fell in love with it and decided I wanted to be a nurse. And from there, it's just, you know, been history. I've always felt privileged and honored to care for the patients that we do every day. And I think that's largely because of, in my family, my grandfather died at home, my grandmother died at home, my father died at a very young age, at 55. And I think once you have those life experiences and knowing what that's like, going through the care of your loved one and knowing how you want them to be cared for, I think that's always what drove me, is I wanted to always be able to impact people in such a way that I made a difference for them, whether it was I was caring for their mother, father, son, daughter, neighbor. And then after doing direct floor work, I went into management, and that really was because I didn't ever want to be far away from the patient, but I wanted to make an impact on other people and always have them be mindful that that's why we're here. It's about the patient. It's never about us. It's never about anything other than how does that impact our patient. So that's the other thing I'm hugely passionate about in my life, and I just always hope that I've been half as good to the profession of nursing as it's been to me. One of the areas that I work in is oncology, and I've never been blessed and more privileged to work with patients who are so courageous and so full of hope and so full of life. And when I look at them, they inspire me. And I think, wow, if they can do that in their life with the challenges that they have, what do I have to complain about? So I just think it's it's an era of gratitude that we have to really be mindful about and make sure that we are giving back. I think that's what we're called to do.
So my passion is working with people and working with passionate people. The people that I find inspiring as leaders are those who can inspire other people, that that can engage people, that can talk to anybody, whether it's the person that's unemployed or the President of the United States. And I think that is someone that inspires me. Work is very important to me, and and like I say, helping people to reach their goals as well. I think that's just really what it's all about. If you can go to bed at night, lay your head down, and feel like you've treated people fairly, then that's a good day. That's kind of how I live. I think what drives me is to do a good job. No matter what it is that I'm doing, I'm going to put 100% effort into whatever I do, and that drives me. I just can't settle for a half-done job. What drives me is just doing the best job that I can.
I love speaking to caregivers and to people who you're in their hands. Your child's life, your husband's life, whomever it might be, you're in those hands. And if those hands know some of the skills that might be helpful, they can make a difference for a lifetime, not just for the moment. So it's a gift to be able to reach out like that. It makes me feel good to see somebody make it. And I talk to lots of victims, and it is a choice whether you stay in that role or whether you move forward. It's the ordinary people doing ordinary things that's extraordinary. And I think it's just a tribute to women in general that the YWCA has reached out like this to say, hey, what you're doing, whether it's big or little, is an accomplishment, and I think that's very positive. Our world tends to focus on the negative, and so it's a good focus to be able to see something happy.
I have been really privileged to work with a bunch of volunteers, a bunch of folks that know how to put dreams into action. And I've been chasing them ever since, and there's a lot of funny stories about that, literally chasing them, trying to catch up with them. But the Carousel Project was really an unlikely idea. They started recruiting people to carve animals that take 600 hours. And not only that, we're going to charge you a fee so that we can pay for the wood for these as we go along. And they did that, and they recruited a few volunteers, and they went to the Farm Expo the next year, and they recruited a lot of volunteers. And to date, we have like 30 people that are carving animals, large platform animals for the carousel. And these are, big animals that adults can ride. And so they recruited, and we found all kinds of talent. All told, I believe at this point we have about 100 active volunteers who have done creative work on this carousel, and the community has really caught the fever of it. It's magical. It's beyond building a carousel. It's about forming relationships and building a community. At the bottom of it all, at the end of the day, art is communication. And if we're talking to one another, then perhaps we can actually like each other and maybe even move toward loving each other, which makes a better community.
I've been in some form of education or the other, beginning with public school systems in 1980, moving into higher education. I also have a passion for helping people because I know that if there had not been those mentors and role models there for me, I probably would not be where I am today. A lot of my drive is innate. It's just the satisfaction of knowing that I've impacted someone in a positive manner. It doesn't come from the headlines or anyone even knowing what has been done, but the fact that that person knows that I have impacted them, and I personally know that I was able to intervene or to provide assistance at a time when no one else was there, or no one else maybe even thought about providing that assistance. I do believe that I am where I am today because I've been able to stand on the shoulders of giants. Some of them I know, many of them are nameless, but they all in some way provided some degree of encouragement.
My passion right now is for educating college students in a broad liberal arts way that results in skills that they can use in a variety of platforms, whether it's media or as a citizen at the PTA. I think good leadership is one of the hardest things to find. And I would like to think that I'm a good leader, but nobody ever teaches you that. You just have to kind of learn the hard way. In my view, people take the vast freedoms that we have lightly and don't exercise the freedom that they have. I find great fulfillment in work, and that my work is in education makes it even better, because sometimes I think I grew up on a farm in a house with no running water, and recently I was at the National Association of Broadcasters conference in DC, checking into a fancy hotel with Paul Ryan right beside me, and going to this meeting where senators and congressmen are the speakers, and we have appointments to go meet with congressmen. Why did that happen for me? Education. What it has done for me has empowered me, and I want other people to have that same joy. I guess what I would say is women rock. We rock.
I really do want to see them reach their potential. I think there are so many women who have so much to offer and not a chance to do it because nobody says, you can do this. I think they have to take chances. Mm-hmm. I think they've got to get out of their comfort zones, and they have to take chances. When administrative spots come up, there aren't many, but when there are chances for women to do things in, say, now that I'm in a university setting, you know, I have to talk about what I know, but I encourage them all the time to go out on a limb and take positions like that, and many of them in my department have. Yeah. Because I like what I do and I teach things I love, and I think if students aren't having fun, they're not learning, and so it's a challenge sometimes to make. They might not think that reading Chaucer is fun, you know. You have to convince them that it's fun and that it's important.